Hey world, welcome to my universe. I thought it would be a cool idea to show you all a sneak peek of how I make my prints from start to finish. So let's begin. This is a section that takes me the longest. Since I don't use a grid system, I freehand the outline of each portrait. That means a lot of erasing and a lot of starting over. When I'm drawing, I use the body parts on the board as landmarks to one another to help me find proper proportions. So, for example, I might say the corner of his right eye is slightly above the top of his left ear and maybe halfway down his nose. But that's a little difficult to ballpark if I don't have the eye, the ear, and the nose drawn out yet to go off of each other. For scaling, if the last trick didn't work, one of my most common tools is using my pencil as a ruler. It helps me document the distance between two objects. So once I find the smaller distance, my thumb holds the spot in place on my pencil. I then transfer this small size scale image from my phone by squinting one eye, hovering my pencil over the larger 16 by 20 canvas, and marking a dot where my feature is supposed to begin. It's a great way to help me magnify a screenshot reference photo. And then we get into my personal meditation, the detail work. This is where I get to see an idea come to life. It takes a lot of time and patience, but it's so worth it in the end. A lot of people ask me how I get so much detail into my pieces. And I know I've said it a million times over, but it really is just scribbling. Everything you see me doing right now is just me drawing a lot of squiggly lines close together to make a specific shade. I might draw one string of patterns and then draw another pattern on top of it going in the opposite direction to create texture, depth, and dimension. That being said, different types of symbols and shapes create different types of texture. In his hair, I'm drawing a bunch of zigzags, like something you might see a cake decorator use as trim work around a dessert. Yet on his cheeks, I'm using circles and dots. Circles are a great shape to use as a buffer or blender between dots and individual lines. After lugging the table back upstairs for my night shift, here you see a wild creature taping her phone to the ceiling to get a killer aerial shot. Fun fact, the pens I actually use are Pilot Precise V5, which are now sold out at Michael's. I wonder why. Heads up, drawing his neck takes 4 layers of patterns. And that's just the neck alone. That constitutes about half hour's worth of work. Yes, it's 2 a.m. Why do you ask? I just get so excited to complete a section that I have to tell myself to stop, or else I'm going to get lazy and start cutting corners because I'm tired. What I'm doing right now is my black and white feature, so I draw lines next to each other and then fill in every other line and crosshatch over that. This adds a bit more freedom to the mix when I'm trying to depict how the fabric folds and wrinkles to his body. When drawing leather jackets, I've come to learn that using individual tiny dots is the best way to go. However, that also means that I'm going to be watching about 4 Glee episodes to get through it. One of the best gifts I ever received is actually the table I'm working on. On the left-hand side, it has a lever that allows the entire table to tilt downwards. That way, I can tack up my canvas with silly putty on the back, stick it to the top of the table, and allow myself to fill in the detail work on the bottom of the board that I normally can't reach. So, I started doing this background with watercolor pencils. However, I used too dark of a shade of purple over on the left-hand side. And what I really wanted to do was make the background a bright color to allow the black and white to pop from the page. So what you're seeing me do right now is trying to add acrylic paint, pastel, and anything else I can muster to try and blend the background into a cohesive unit. There's a bit of pastel and I have 3 reckless cats, so I'm going to protect the image in its frame for the night. Now, since my canvas is a 16 by 20 and my machine isn't that large, I have to scan my piece in 4 sections and then stitch the images back together in Photoshop. Lucky for us, Photoshop has an automate feature that takes care of that for us. Voila! Ready to send. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my website launching on August 31st. Until then, follow me on Instagram or TikTok at AMD Inc. See you soon!